We are live. Good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, January 31st. It is 8:07 a.m. This is the Commerce and Economic Development Committee of the House. And we are here with our intern, Helen Argraves, to give a report from the week.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you again. For the record, my name is Helen Argraves. I'm the House Commerce and Economic Development Committee intern for this session, and a senior at the University of Vermont. My report this week again covers the Senate Committee on Economic Development, Housing, and General Affairs. It's relatively brief. A lot of this week was dedicated to partly the governor's budget proposal. They spent the day with you on Wednesday for Small Business Day. But focusing on the meetings that they had outside of that, to start, there's no new bills in committee at this point, and no committee activity has happened on the existing bills, S6 and S16. In their meetings this week, they met with the Department of Tourism and Marketing to finish up a report that they had started either last week or the week before. Some key points from that meeting were that tourism in Vermont visitors were at 15.8 million in 2023, which is exciting because we're back to pre-pandemic levels. They discussed their visitation and relocation campaigns and the difference between the two. And they highlighted that through their initiative, Think Vermont, in the year 2024, from, I believe, about 562 prospects that they looked at through that initiative, 52 new family units moved to Vermont during the year, and that was 97 new individuals. They met for introductions with the outdoor recreation industry, including ski resorts, dairy industry, and it primarily focused on an overview of their jurisdiction in that area and the programs that were present. But some key points were Senator Clarkson did ask how many members of the organization are building houses for their employees. Killington, it looks like, houses about 463 employees with subsidized housing. Vermont Glove has purchased a building with 10 units, and 4 of those units have been dedicated to employees. Killington has also invested in its workforce through internships in hospitality, mechanic training that leads to jobs with them, and providing that housing that I just spoke of close to bus routes and transportation, which allows for easy access to work. They then met with the Consumer Assistance Program for an update on their progress. They will have achieved over 2 million returns in savings and refunds for Vermonters this year. And the top 3 subjects that they have been able to help with are currently local retail, primarily online purchases, home improvement, which they have been able to facilitate by dedicating a person to specialize in fielding those calls, and motor vehicles. And beyond that, I took a look. They joined Housing and General Affairs, the House Committee, to go over the governor's omnibus housing proposal for this upcoming year. It's not yet in the form of a bill, but they preemptively met to go over what will be included in it. And there was no mention of employer-assisted housing, but they are proposing a program similar to TIF, an extension of it that specializes primarily in servicing rural communities. That's called SPARK, Strategic Projects for Advancing Rural Communities. And that is something that I can continue to look into if that is helpful for this committee. That's all I have for you today, and I am happy to take any questions if there are any.
Well, I mean, she triggered me with TIF, so, um, can you provide a little more information about that? Is there, do you have any? Are they working on a bill or?
So what I can tell is that this proposal from the administration is going to be presented in the form of a bill. It's not yet there yet, but they have a presentation. It was about 2 hours that goes over all the things that are likely to be included in it, I believe. One of that, part of that is infrastructure, and that is where Spark comes in. What I understand as of now is that it essentially performs a similar function to TIF, but if I'm understanding correctly, TIF has been used more in the urban area, and this is meant to provide the same function to rural communities.
Herb has, do you want to give more information on that?
Yeah, can I give more?
You can give more
For sure.
information.
Thank you. So, thank you. So I was just appointed to the VEPSI board, which is the Vermont Economic Progress Council, which I think that's what it stands for, which oversees VEGI and TIF. And Jessica, the director, emailed me yesterday the kind of overview of Spark that is coming from the governor that will be included in the housing omnibus board. So I will email that to everybody. It's probably easiest versus me trying to like explain it. I'll just email it to the committee.
Great.
And I'm going to have lunch with Jessica on Tuesday, and I will know more. Actually, we'll send it to Anna Grace. I'll send it to you, and that way you can send it out or whatever.
Great.
And post it. Great. No, yeah. So I will know more. So you and I should.
Absolutely.
Learning a lot. I'm interested in what you're proposing, and let's get together.
Absolutely.
Herb?
So, Abby,
Yes.
is that report the entire governor's proposal or just that one aspect?
It's just going to be the one
I
aspect.
was having trouble finding the governor's complete proposal. Is that anywhere available?
So did you see, you said there was a slide deck?
There is, they go through it on Vermont House Committee on General Affairs, their
Okay.
YouTube page.
Do you know what
Can
day they
also-
did it?
This was just yesterday.
It's yesterday on their homepage.
Okay, great.
I can find it for you if you want and send it.
Yeah,
Okay, great.
I saw something about it too. Let me see.
Were there other questions? Could I see other hand? And we will have a TIF overview presentation also, so in committee from JFO, giving us a lot of data and information on the current program, not on the new program. I think it's important to have both pieces as we move forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Jessica said she is testifying in housing in general at 11 o'clock on Tuesday. So my guess is that she'll be coming to talk to them about that aspect of it. So if you want, you could make a note to watch the YouTube of it. My guess is she'll have a lot of information in that.
Also report back on that for you if you want.
Great. Anything else?
That is all I have today.
Any general questions from anyone? You're welcome to stay there, or you can go over this side if you want to get out of the hot seat. That's fine. Any other, yes,
So I may have, when I initially looked at the calendar today, it wasn't real clear. So this proposal to mark up a possible vote on page 34, but not 99.
correct. We're finishing up 34, hopefully voting on it and moving it out to the chamber. later today.
But 99 will go to.
99, we need more testimony.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody working with their partner committee, are they working on any bills that we need to be aware of? Does anybody have any updates on things that our committee should be aware of that's happening in other committee?
So one update is, so I have my liaison is Doug Bishop for Human Services. Environment is still working on signing me somebody.
It sounds like we were ahead of the other. committee.
Oh, yeah, they were all like, oh, so Doug did report to me that it's not a bill, but they did have testimony, on Mental Health Awareness Day. They had testimony from the director and assistant director of the graduate program in counseling at UVM, who, I'm sorry, Vermont State University, who said that because of some, programs through VSAC and a critical occupation scholarship, maybe that both of these were state funded, they were able to grow their program from 85 students in 2018 to 300, but that funding has dried up. So something for us to be aware of, that there's, you know, that funding for whatever those specific programs are. He didn't have, they didn't have a PowerPoint or a report, but and they recommended that they reach out to us for the budget process.
And this was nursing? This was
Mental health counseling,
mental health counseling,
mental health counseling.
which program?
Yeah, it said VSAC run loan forgiveness program and critical occupation scholarships. Doug didn't know the exact, but I have the contact info of the people, so I could reach out to them and ask.
I'm sure they will be.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah,
They're not going to forget.
They're not gonna forget. Great. It's a good. heads up.
That's all I've got, but other than that, no bills that specifically for us to discuss.
Go ahead, Michael.
I don't have any bills, but I want to tell you the person that I'm
Great.
supposed to be connecting with.
Okay.
It's Sandra Pincinot. Did I pronounce that correctly? Pincinot. Pincinot.
Great. Thank you.
Nothing too exciting in ways and means.
They're not doing anything.
They're not doing anything.
So
accurate.
I mean, nothing that directly pertains to a lot of the stuff that, overlaps with workforce development, and consumer protections. Nothing really.
Alice Emmons, the chair of Corrections Institutions, has said that she'll just be in touch with us. I think there's maybe not going to be a person, someone else, but anyways, I know that labor and employment practices are important to our committee. So over in general on housing, it's a rather small slice of the workforce, but a bill has been introduced, as Representative Priestley is aware, or they're considering one that requires that an employer continue legislators' employment benefits during legislative leave. So I guess that would apply to about 180 members of the state of Vermont. But that's something that is relevant to some of the workforce elements. So a small slice of it. But apart from that, nothing else seems to have come through that's relevant to us.
Introduced, but they haven't taken that up.
I believe that has not been, I'm not sure. Joe just pointed it out. And that's Joe Parsons, maybe his name, Newberg. So that's, he and I will be communicating on that front.
Great. Any?
On agriculture, food resiliency and forestry, I've reached out to the chair and identified myself as the liaison from this side, and so we'll have to get you one from our side. Redouble my efforts to make that happen. The only bill I saw all this week that they talked about in their committee, they've been doing much the same as we have, getting to know the players and what have you, but they had a Ledge Council introduction to H14, which is an act relating to prohibiting the use of animals in product testing, which might be of interest to many, but I don't know that we'll see action on it as a committee.
But it could impact business, so that's an
Yeah.
important one to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Transportation is going over the agency transportation budgets and still also doing the big catch up. So there's not like a ton of action. They did get Bill 111, which is an act relating to waiving registration fees for volunteer firefighters and motor vehicles. It sounds like this year there's gonna be probably a number of bills like dealing with various fees and structures and stuff to try to make cars more affordable. Yeah.
So, the healthcare committee, they spent a lot of time outside, governor's address and all that sort of stuff, taking up a lot of bills that were introduced in the committee. Give them 5 minutes. Here's what's going on, which it's good. I didn't really see much that interacted. I mean, they're trying to really deal with some of the healthcare cost issues. Many of the bills, touch on those, but I didn't really see a whole lot of overlap with anything that, we're doing other than here's a big issue for workforce and economic development. The only thing that I think potentially might have something to do with us, but again, probably not, designated agencies. They had a full warning on that. And a lot of issues around, their resources, they're fully funded by the state. And
Does everybody know what designated agencies are?
that would be like in Addison County's counseling services, Addison County, they provide community-based mental health services as well as services to folks who are developmentally disabled. So they're a big part of the whole structure of how to provide those services. And they're always under, stress, frankly, because they're supported by state appropriation. And
Yeah, Howard Center.
yeah, Howard Center, for example, is another one. Each region has a designated agency. So there's some tension there. But again,
Well, so just to play on the tension, right? They support schools. And
I
when
was
we
gonna get to that.
underfund, go ahead.
well, yeah, no, go ahead.
When we underfund the designated agencies, so we don't fund the designated agencies out of the general fund.
Right.
The cost gets shifted to property taxes because schools are required to provide the services for students. So designated agency can say, I don't have enough staff because they don't. The school doesn't have that option. So, and then there's the tension of hiring because schools start hiring people from the designated agencies and it becomes this really difficult cycle.
Yeah, and education can pay a little bit more. So that aspect then reduces the providers that the designated agency can provide. So it's pretty mixed
It's a
up
cycle.
kind of situation.
It's a bad cycle.
Yeah.
But again,
Doesn't
probably not directly related to this.
So judiciary, I don't know if it's directly related, but it is commerce related, that they're looking to adjust the blood alcohol content limits. So that might get
Yeah, so
liquor in here.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
So they said they're looking at lowering the civil penalties from engaging from 0.08 blood alcohol content to 0.06. So they're just saying that as far as sale of liquor is concerned, when it comes to commerce, like that might be a thing that come in to say it'll affect that. Maybe.
Yeah, it likely won't
Yeah.
come to our committee.
Yeah.
But it's important for us to be aware that it's happening.
And then the energy and tech one, they're starting to work on or look at the energy transition economic impact report. So it's a report that reports the number of gas stations, number of heating fuel sellers, number of electric vehicle supply, plates, electric rates, and so in general, economic impact of energy transition.
Anybody have anything else?
An issue that's been brought to my attention again last night that it relates to the Rutland State Fair, but also Addison Field Days, the Champlain Valley Expo, and Barton Fair up in the Northeast Kingdom, is the application of the 3-acre rule. If there's more than 3 acres of hardened surfaces, you have to mitigate stormwater runoff and all that. There's $2 million set aside to assist those 4 fair properties in managing that state funding. The Rutland State Fair people, which is a fairly major economic driver in Rutland, not just because of the fair, but the numerous other events that go on there, including some in partnership with the Paramount Theater and various other groups. So there might be an interface directly there for us. But they got their preliminary report
And the state fairs usually come in to share with us what they're doing and the tourism aspect, right, and all of that. So we will hear from them, I'm sure, around budget time also.
Right.
We're gonna ask to get on our calendar. So that's helpful to have a heads up on that.
So we have it on our radar.
Thank you. Anything else? Education doesn't have any workforce issues. They're working on other things right now. So that's
They may.
They may. At the moment, that is not their focus.
Let's superintendent.
Okay, then I think we can go, we have floor at 9:30. And then we back here 10 minutes after floor. And we have a relatively busy afternoon, for the rest of the day. So our agenda is up to date on our website. So we have a little bit of a break now. Have a great morning, and we'll see you all on the floor.